My name is Jasmine Lee, and this is my podcast.
Lies have been continuing for centuries, and it will expose the genocide, and it is the worst genocide in human history. And currently we're in a post-genocide, and no one still wants to talk about it. Post-genocide is that we have went through a genocide, and people are still affected by the genocide. And sometimes the affection of it is the same structure, the same laws are still in place, the oppressiveness of it.
The reason I think it's hard to talk about race within the judicial system is because race really plays a big part on how this country is governed. And since the Constitution is so outdated, it's really swayed towards the Caucasian race. It keeps them in control of everything. So they don't want anybody to talk about that. And they don't want anything to change. Because if nothing changes, they stay in power.
Today, we refuse to talk about the root of racial injustices. America was founded on racial oppression. There was and still is this idea that people of color are less than human, and they should be treated as such. America has made it hard to talk about race. The root causes of racial injustices is America. Slavery, slave codes, scientific racism, genocide, discrimination and segregation, the Jim Crow laws, the systemic racism and structural racism. I could go on for hours. Who was and still is supposed to protect us from these hateful, unjust actions and sanctions? It's the judicial system. The judicial system is supposed to protect our rights, and that includes the rights of Black lives. However, the judicial system doesn't protect Black lives. Nope, rather it makes a profit while legally enslaving African Americans once again. There has been a rise in mass incarceration targeting Black men, especially for drugs such as marijuana. Black people are twice as likely than white people to be arrested for marijuana possession, even though they use them at the same rates. Let me try to provide you with a little visual. India is a country of 1.2 billion people. The country in total has around 380,000 prisoners. There are more African American men incarcerated in the United States than the total prison population in India, Argentina, Canada, Lebanon, Japan, Germany, Finland, Israel, and England combined. The number of Black males incarcerated in the United States is around 745,000. And not only is that shocking, but Black people in particular, Black men, are arrested more for drug possession and they receive harsher punishments. Now, why is mass incarceration still being used? It doesn't work. It hasn't been proven to be effective. Well, to answer that question, in reality, it was never meant to work. It was never meant to get drugs off the street. It was meant to do exactly what it's doing today, incarcerating as many Black men as possible at an unjust rate for profit, and of course to ultimately control Black lives again. Inmates produce manufactured goods that are sold to state agencies or sometimes even nonprofits, while only earning an hourly wage between 33 cents and $1.41. Now, the UNICOR employed almost 17,000 inmates in 2017, and the corporation sold $453.8 million in goods. History repeats itself, and the judicial system is repeating legal slavery. The system locks up Black people for crimes that they didn't even commit. Just ask Lavon Brooks, Kennedy Brewer, Troy Davis, Thomas Hainsworth, Chester Holman, or even Alfred Dwayne Brown. The system took their lives away. And not only did they take their lives away, they also had the evidence to prove their innocence. But they refused to let that evidence into the court. The system refuses to believe that Black men can be innocent, or that a white judge, a white jury, and a white prosecutor, that they could be wrong. The system doesn't want justice in cases like these. They just want to see another black man behind bars. The criminal justice system has opened this door to racial profiling. Police officers pull over African Americans more than anyone else, simply for driving while black. Police officers use racial profiling as their grounds for suspicion. The victims of racial profiling are Michael Brown, Eric Gardner, Walter Scott, Freddie Gray, Sandra Bland. The list goes on and on. The police, who are supposed to be there to protect us, kill us. They kill us when we're hanging out with our friends. They kill us when we're in the car just trying to get home or go to work. They kill us when we're playing in the park. They kill us when we ask questions. They kill us when we stand up for our rights. They even kill us when we're trying to hold them accountable for their actions. They kill us because they're threatened by the color of our skin. They kill us because we're black. Why are white people seen as if they can do no wrong? Why are white people seen as if they can do no harm? White people are the ones that cause the most severe harm, and they have for years, even decades. And to this day, they still face no consequences. True justice in the face of a racially biased system is an absolute rarity, especially for black people in the United States. When are we going to be treated with respect? When will we be treated and cared for like the human beings that we are? Now, we live in this new era, the new Jim Crow. It's this lifelong stigma of a felony. When a person becomes a felon, they face legalized exclusion. And after being released from prison, they have to figure out new resources. And not only do they have to figure out just new resources, they have to be able to deal with this life as a felon. It's perfectly legal to discriminate against a felon. They're excluded from unemployment, housing, voting, public benefits, and even jury service. And most of the felons in the United States are African American men. This is the criminal justice system and the judicial system as a whole. This is their way of continuing to destroy black lives. Now, America will have these politicians that will run campaigns about race and how it's unfair for all these injustices happening and that they're going to do something about it. They speak about these racial issues and how they're going to fix the system for doing so much wrong. But when these candidates are elected, all they do is create more laws that just hurt black people's lives. That's why race is so hard to talk about. Because the system that is in place, that's supposed to protect us, to seek justice, to do what's right, and to hold those who infringe on our rights accountable, it doesn't do that. The system has failed black lives. The system has built itself to ignore protecting black lives. The judicial system and the criminal justice system has failed black lives numerous of times, and they just keep doing it. And when the finger is pointed at them to fix it, to hold those officials that are doing the wrongdoings accountable for their actions, it's ignored. And the American people refuse to help hold the system accountable for their actions. That is why race is so hard to talk about. Nobody cares about the injustices, the brutality, and the hate that's happening to black lives. The system doesn't care about the injustices black lives face, the hatred that we're given. Nobody cares what's happening to my black life or any other black life that walks this earth. The judicial system is supposed to be the system that cares, but it doesn't. That is why race is so hard to talk about. When is the system going to care? When will black lives matter?
Like Brian Stevenson said, just mercy. Just mercy. You still have this same dragnet. And the only way to destroy it is to destroy the foundation of it. And that has to be exposed. Till you expose that, nothing will ever change. You got to go to the beginning of it.